60 flood warnings, 14 cities under yellow alerts, and one region tonight where temperatures could plunge to -3 degrees Celsius. This is the most dangerous Saturday night weather event the United Kingdom has seen in weeks. And if you live anywhere from Cornwall to the Scottish Highlands, the next 15 minutes could genuinely change how you prepare for tonight. Stay with me, because at the 5-minute mark, I will reveal the one region that almost nobody is talking about, where conditions could turn truly treacherous after midnight. But first, let me give you something immediately useful. Right now, as of this Saturday evening, the 7th of February 2026, the Met Office has yellow weather warnings covering virtually the entire United Kingdom. Not one region, not two, nearly all of them. A powerful low-pressure system is dragging Atlantic frontal systems inland, and it is not going anywhere fast. Why? Because a stubborn block of high pressure to the northeast is acting like a wall, slowing everything down. That means the rain, the wind, the cold, all of it lingers far longer than a typical passing front. The result is relentless, prolonged rainfall, gusty winds, and for those in the north, snow on the hills. Now, here is what makes tonight genuinely different. The Environment Agency has issued more than 60 flood warnings across England alone. Rivers are already running high. Groundwater levels in Dorset, Wiltshire, and Hampshire have hit alert thresholds. The Avon Valley, the Piddle, the Stour, dozens of smaller watercourses across the Wessex region are experiencing active groundwater flooding right now tonight as you listen to this. And the rain is not stopping. So here is what I'm going to do for you. I am going to take you through every major city and region, one by one. Exact temperatures, exact wind speeds, exact timing of when conditions get worst in your area, and crucially, when they start to ease. If you want a forecast specifically for where you live, drop your city or town in the comments and I will cover it in the next update. Let us get into it. London. If you are in the capital tonight, here is what you are facing. The daytime high reached around 11 degrees Celsius, but as darkness settles in, temperatures are dropping to roughly 7 degrees. Now, 7 degrees does not sound terrible, but here is the catch. The dampness combined with winds running between 10 and 21 miles per hour will make it feel significantly colder than that. The Met Office describes conditions across London and the southeast tonight as murky with outbreaks of rain. Drizzle and light rain will be persistent and stubborn through the evening, with occasional heavier bursts. After 9 o'clock, watch out. Patches of fog are expected to form across the lower-lying areas along the Thames Basin, cutting visibility sharply. The yellow rain warning remains in force, meaning localized surface water flooding is possible and transport may face minor disruption. If you are heading out tonight, check those tube services on overground sections and suburban bus routes before you leave. Waterproof jacket, umbrella, you will need both. The overnight low should hold at around 7 degrees, so at least we are not talking frost in London tonight. But do not switch off yet, because conditions in the southwest are dramatically worse. Plymouth. This is the city sitting right in the firing line tonight. The temperature is similar to London, around 11 degrees during the day. But the headline here is not the temperature, it is the rain. The southwest of England, Devon, Cornwall, Dorset, Somerset, is bearing the absolute brunt of the heaviest rainfall in this entire weather event. Bands of heavy rain are sweeping in directly off the Atlantic. The ground is already completely saturated from days of preceding rainfall. The flood risk here is very real indeed. Plymouth itself is exposed to coastal gusts reaching 20 to 25 miles per hour. If you live in the southwest, I cannot stress this enough. Check whether your property lies within a flood risk area tonight. Visit checkforflooding.service.gov.uk. Prepare torches, a charged phone, essential supplies, just in case of power interruptions. This is not about fear. This is about sensible preparation. Now let me take you across the Bristol Channel to Wales. Cardiff, the Welsh capital, recorded a daytime high of about 10 degrees Celsius, and tonight temperatures dropped to between 5 and 7 degrees. Wales as a whole is under a yellow rain warning. South Wales in particular has already endured brutal downpours through the week, and tonight offers virtually no respite. Rain bands from a southwesterly frontal system will continue sweeping across Cardiff and surrounding areas. Rainfall accumulations over the day could reach 15 to 30 millimetres quite widely, but here is the number that should make you sit up. Across the hillier terrain in Western Wales, totals may exceed 40 millimetres. That is a serious amount of water falling on already waterlogged ground. Roads in Cardiff and the valley communities could see localised flooding. Spray from passing vehicles will slash visibility. If you are driving through this area tonight, reduce your speed and switch on fog lamps if conditions warrant it. Bristol, just across the channel, is in the same situation. 9 degrees falling to 5 overnight. Persistent rain. 2 cities separated by water, united by thoroughly miserable weather. Now remember, I promised you something important at the 5-minute mark. Here it is. The region almost nobody is paying attention to tonight is the northeast of Scotland. Aberdeen specifically. Aberdeen is recording just 4 degrees Celsius, making it one of the coldest cities in the entire country today. Tonight, temperatures could fall to between 1 and 2 degrees. Aberdeen sits in an incredibly exposed position, taking the full force of an easterly breeze laden with moisture from the North Sea. The Met Office has identified the northeast of Scotland as one of the areas bearing the heaviest rainfall in this entire weather event. Rain at lower levels, snow on the heights across the Grampian Mountains, and this will persist through the entire night. Rainfall accumulations could be very significant. Visibility will be poor from rain and sea fog combined. If you are anywhere near the A90 or A96 through Aberdeenshire, check conditions thoroughly before you travel tonight. On the higher tops, such as the Cairngorms, further centimetres of snow could well accumulate. Aberdeen is the city people forget about in these forecasts, and tonight that is a mistake. Right, every region has its own story tonight. Do not skip ahead because the twist for your area might be seconds away. Birmingham, the country's second city. Daytime temperature around 8 degrees, falling tonight to between 3 and 4 degrees. Both the West Midlands and East Midlands are under yellow warnings. Birmingham is in for a cloudy night with outbreaks of rain. Not the ceaseless downpours of the southwest, but here is the critical detail. The ground is already waterlogged. Drainage systems are under considerable strain. Even a modest amount of additional rain tonight could trigger localized flooding. Flood alerts are in place for the Birmingham area. If you live in low-lying spots near rivers and canals, remain vigilant tonight. Coventry, Leicester, Nottingham, all in a similar position. Temperatures between 4 and 8 degrees, heavy cloud, intermittent rain. Sheffield, this is where the weather gets properly dramatic, just 5 degrees falling to 2 or 3 tonight. Sheffield sits on the edge of the Peak District, meaning spells of sleet are likely on the western hills above 300 metres. Roads through the Peak District passes could become genuinely treacherous after dark. Leeds is faring little better, 6 degrees by day, 4 overnight, patchy rain and moderate winds. Manchester. The city gets somewhat more tolerable conditions compared with the rest of the week, though tolerable is doing an enormous amount of heavy lifting by British winter standards. Daytime high reached about 10 degrees, dropping to 4 degrees overnight. The chance of rain in Manchester on Saturday is actually lower than in many other parts. Thick cloud and the possibility of light drizzle will persist, but here is a small mercy. Manchester may see the odd brief clear spell during the late afternoon before cloud thickens again towards evening. Winds are running at 9 to 22 miles per hour. Salford, Bolton, Oldham and the surrounding towns share the same outlook. Predominantly cloudy. Occasional drizzle, cool but staying above freezing. Liverpool, 6 to 8 degrees by day, 5 after dark. 60% chance of rain with totals around 3.3 millimetres. But winds on Merseyside are stronger due to coastal exposure, 12 to 25 miles per hour. A damp and breezy night beside the Irish Sea, now north of the border. Scotland tonight is where the weather story becomes genuinely concerning. Do not miss the next section. Edinburgh, Scotland's capital. Daytime temperatures reaching about 7 degrees, dropping to 5 degrees overnight. That is appreciably colder than London, and the wind chill will make it feel colder still. Edinburgh sits in the zone where cold Scandinavian air is pushing in from the northeast, creating a sharp temperature contrast between north and south. Intermittent rain tonight, with a northeasterly breeze drawing moisture off the North Sea, making the showers heavier along the eastern coast. The Lothian and Borders area may see more prolonged spells of rain than Western Scotland. Important safety note, the cobbled slopes of Edinburgh's Old Town will be decidedly slippery tonight. Wear sensible footwear with decent grip if you are venturing out. Glasgow, Scotland's largest city. Just 5 degrees during the day, and tonight values could fall to between 0 and 2 degrees. The Met Office warns that as bands of rain push northwards, snow is possible on higher ground around Glasgow, particularly above 300 metres. There is a sliver of better news, though. Northwestern Scotland, including parts of Strathclyde, may see occasional clearer spells compared with the rest of the country. But with temperatures potentially touching freezing by midnight, bridges, overpasses, and metal surfaces could begin to ice up. Driving in and around Glasgow after dark will require particular care tonight. Dundee, 7 degrees by day, 4 overnight, 80% chance of rain, winds 11 to 21 miles per hour. Damp, cold, and breezy across central Tayside and Fife. Inverness, the gateway to the Highlands, just 3 degrees during the day, and tonight temperatures will touch freezing. The Highlands and the Western Isles are where snow on higher ground is entirely plausible. Mountain passes such as the A9 over Dromochta and the A82 through Glencoe could be affected by snow and ice. Now here is a fascinating twist. The northwestern highlands may actually prove to be the driest part of the entire country tonight, and could even see the odd clear spell. But make no mistake, the cold here is very real. Temperatures could drop to -1 or -3 degrees on exposed higher ground overnight. Anyone contemplating hill walking in the highlands this weekend should be fully equipped with cold weather gear, carry a torch and a map, and ensure somebody knows their route. Newcastle, the great city of the northeast. 5 degrees by day, falling to between 2 and 3 tonight. The northeast of England is under a yellow warning. Newcastle sits on the boundary between the milder air feeding up from the south and the colder air spilling down from Scotland, creating particular instability. Rain may turn to sleet on the higher ground around Northumberland by midnight. A northeasterly wind off the North Sea will add a raw edge to the cold. Sunderland, Middlesbrough, and the coastal towns of the northeast find themselves in much the same position. Damp, cold, and exposed to brisk winds off the sea. Northern Ireland. Belfast is recording 5 degrees, with daytime temperatures possibly reaching 9 degrees before falling to 3 overnight. A band of rain will track across Northern Ireland tonight, bringing moderate to heavy falls. The Mourne Mountains to the southeast and the Sperrin Mountains to the northwest may well see snow on their summits. Londonderry, Newry, and Enniskillen will also see spells of rain with cool temperatures. Rural roads across Northern Ireland, particularly those crossing hilly terrain, could become slippery and hazardous after dark. A few more cities before the crucial overnight summary. Brighton, 9 to 10 degrees, but the sea breeze and drizzle make the seafront inhospitable. Portsmouth, 9 degrees with a yellow warning for heavy rain. Hampshire has significant flooding with roads underwater. Southampton, 11 degrees dropping to 6, persistent rain. Oxford and Reading, drizzly and murky. Reading has 80% chance of rain. Accumulations roughly 5.7 millimetres. Winds 16 to 30 miles per hour. Both cities should remain alert to surface water in riverside areas. Blackpool, 7 degrees by day, 4 overnight. Sea winds off the Irish Sea will be keen. Brace for lively gusts along the pier. Right, here is your overnight summary. This is the part you need to remember. The south will be milder but wetter. The north colder with snow risk on higher ground. London, 7 to 11 degrees, persistent drizzle. Cardiff and Bristol, 5 to 10 degrees, heavy rain. Birmingham, 3 to 8 degrees, intermittent showers. Manchester, 4 to 10 degrees, occasional drizzle with possible clearer spells. Liverpool, 5 to 8 degrees, windier. Sheffield and Leeds, 2 to 6 degrees, sleet possible on the hills. Newcastle, 2 to 5 degrees, raw easterly off the sea. Edinburgh, 5 to 7 degrees, rain and wind. Glasgow, 0 to 5 degrees, frost possible. Aberdeen, 1 to 4 degrees, heavy rain and hill snow. Inverness, touching freezing. Belfast, 3 to 9 degrees, persistent rain. Will Sunday be any better? I am afraid the answer from the Met Office extended outlook is no. Unsettled weather will continue to hold sway well into next week. Low pressure systems remain dominant. Further rain-bearing fronts will approach from the Atlantic. Western and southern areas remain most at risk of heavy rain and flooding. The northeast of Britain may also prove wetter than normal. Snow remains possible when colder air masses filter south. Strong winds may also feature. Here is what I need you to do right now. If you have elderly relatives or neighbours living alone, give them a ring tonight. Make sure they have heating, food, and medication. That one phone call could make a real difference. Drop your city or town in the comments. I read every single one, and in the next video, I will cover the full Sunday forecast, plus the extended outlook for the week ahead, including a major development forming in the Atlantic that could change everything by Wednesday. You will not want to miss that one. Stay warm, stay safe, and I will see